Like that, you know, that didn't exist. Like me with that hairstyle didn't exist. I wore that, didn't exist. Can you see me fine?
Nice and clear.
Yeah, good.
Where are you?
LA, Los Angeles.
Is this your studio or your room that we're
Yes, I'm in kind of, I can show you a little bit if you want. I'm just in my little, got like my recording set up here.
Oh, sick.
Guitars and things there. I got my Aussie flag up against the wall. This is kind of where I've been doing most of my hanging out and quarantining. I've still been recording music during this time, trying to stay busy and productive and reading, writing, just trying to do all the things I would have done or don't usually think I have the time to do, you know? And I've always found I'm most creative when I'm by myself. I've just released this poetry book.
The closer you are to the elements, the closer to the source, the closer to the authentic and original matter, the more spirit-oriented you become.
It's something I've been working on and collecting poems and filling up notebooks for the last 5 years. Ended up just going out and putting a manuscript together and just sending it to publishers and different people just to see if I got any bites, and was like lucky enough to get a publishing deal out of it. The book's right here, and it's just kind of like a collection of everything I've written in all my notebooks for the last 5 years. So it looks really pretty in person. I'm really proud of it.
It's got a, I like that you use the Tiffany blue. Very,
It's one of my favorite colors.
Yeah.
I've always liked the Tiffany branding, the silver and like the very pale sort of oceanic color. And I kind of jacked the steez a little bit, but.
I think it's really interesting that you've chosen releasing a book as a sort of, I don't know if I like the word rebrand, but I guess it is sort of like a rebrand for your fans. Is the fact that it's like an actual piece of thing that's beyond the internet, has that changed in your mind, kind of like how you're transitioning?
I'd say so, yeah, because obviously with music, it's everything now has moved into completely digital, but having something tangible, it's like it kind of is a similar moment. Like I kind of compared it to when I was like 14, 15 and had my first kind of physical CD come out, literally, because now I feel old. You know, I've been an artist since people actually went to CD stores, which is crazy to think about.
I'm pretty sure that I bought I, that one of your first songs.
Every minute, every second, every hour of the day,
because there was a physical CD of that. So books obviously kind of being the one thing that maybe will never die. I think there's something about reading a physical copy of a book that you can't really replicate. It was a really proud moment, like holding it for the first time, you know.
I want to know about the name Prince Neptune. What is that in reference to? How did you come up with that?
I'm really interested in mythology, Greek and Roman mythology. And so the Poseidon, Neptune character was something I identified with. But I probably started digging mythology when I was like 18, 19, moved down to like Venice Beach in California and like went through this really like kind of gnarly, like rebellious phase where I kind of almost like threw everything I'd ever worked for away in search of something more meaningful to me. Initially, it was like I was assuming a pen name.
There's such a thing in having a pseudonym, I think, especially as a writer, especially writing poetry. Like a lot of the stuff that I've been reading that you've written is really personal. I imagine that's quite hard, like making them public.
Yeah, exactly. It can be quite, it puts you in a vulnerable position. I mean, I've led a pretty public life my whole life, so it's something I've become adjusted to, but there's still an element of sacrifice and feeling like you're gonna share your feelings with people, you know?
The song that you've released as well is Captain's Dance with the Devil, is that right?
It's one of 2 songs I'm releasing kind of in conjunction with the book.
One of the lyrics in it is only 17, living far beyond his means. That makes sense for sort of your journey. And do you sometimes find, because you are so young, like you're 23 and you've been in the public eye for 10 years, do you ever feel like you do have a lot more responsibility than people your age, I guess?
Yeah, I think I was forced to grow up quite young and quite quickly, and obviously in front of everyone, and so I had to make all my mistakes in front of everyone. Lucky enough, I didn't make that many, or at least tried not to make them in public. You know, that period was quite unconventional for me, and obviously I left school and I was 13, 14 and was just homeschooled through the rest of it and spent most of my teens traveling, but that kind of education was priceless. I wouldn't change anything, because everything I've done up until this point, from when I first started as like a full-blown teen pop star up until now, it's like everything I did was what I wanted to do at that time. It's hard because I can't delete like that stuff, as though, like most people can kind of just delete their Facebook pictures or Instagram photos from when they're like 15, and be like, that, that didn't exist. Like me with that hairstyle didn't exist. I wore that, didn't exist. You know what I mean? I was friends with this person, didn't exist. Whereas for me, it's like, it's just a Google away. And so it's hard because you kind of have to get adjusted to that just being available to it for everybody to see. It forces you to just come to terms with the life you've lived, and it's a blessing and a curse, I guess.